the precision ad tech. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the ad tech stack. Okay, how to create a tech stack for your ABM bridge ads, right? So the idea is to create a multi-layer ecosystem connecting market data to ads. That's the idea, to create a multi-layer ecosystem, creating different sources of data, cold list, leads, deals, behavioral data, web data, all this together, and then create segments and audiences in your ad accounts and then target them accordingly. And this is where the AI and automation can also come into the picture in terms of automating this as much as possible. Okay. So there are key layers here. So the key layer is, of course, the data layer, where the data is residing. For example, your sales data resides in HubSpot Salesforce. Product data resides on Segment or data warehouses, wherever it is. So this is the data layer. Then intent layer, there are other layers. For example, companies who are coming from G2, high intent, company from Factors or Six Sense, your web visitors, high intent, and like so on. So all these data can be pushed and segments can be created, right? And based on those segments, you can create audiences. And then on those audiences, you can run targeted ads. Make sense? For example, you can create a segment of all the web visitors in last 30 days, all the product new free trial users of your product in last 6 months, right? All the visitors, the companies who have visited your G2 profile in last 3 months. These are all segments. Based on that, create audiences. And then based on that audience, you create a very targeted ads. So for the G2 audiences, created G2 related ads, show them a G2 metrics in which how you are, better than your competitors. Okay, for web visitors, ask them to come back and download a case study, right? And and for product usage data, you can create, hey, you know what? You can use this particular feature or that particular feature, and like so on. So you can see you can create different segments. Based on those different segments, you can create different audiences in ad accounts. And then on those audiences, you can create very specific, precise ads based on their behavior, their use case, and their company data as well as their personal data. I'm sorry for that. Okay, all right. So matching layer. Now you got to match the layer. In a sense, once you have the data layer in place, once you have the intent layer in place, then you need to match the layer, right? Which data is matched with which intent, correct? Makes sense? So if somebody is coming from G2, LinkedIn is a very good profile because, these companies, corporates might be very active on LinkedIn. If somebody is doing a web visit, then, you can also do a Google customer match and run just a targeted ads or Google display ads and like so on, right? Or maybe even a YouTube ads. So you've got to match the data layer and the intent layer with the right channels, right? And then create an ad layer, create LinkedIn ads, Google ads, Meta ads, display ads, okay, whatever it is, create those layers. So there are different systems in place and you are integrating those systems. And then you can automate things. Right now, there is a lot of stuff that needs to go. No, G2, if somebody does this ad needs to go. Okay. Web visitor, somebody checks the pricing page, this needs to happen. Somebody goes to case study, this needs to happen. So based on that, you can create multiple hundreds of different use cases. And of course, you cannot do all these things manually. It will require a large team to do that. So you can then you use the automation layer. This is where the GTM engineering comes into the picture. The clays and the make.com, the anytens, all these things will come into the picture at this stage. Okay, connecting all these different systems. And then at the end, sits the analytics layer, right? Where basically you run the GA4s and the HubSpot attribution and just attribute things, right? Which lead came from which campaigns, okay, whether this campaign performed, did not perform, all of that needs to be done, right? At the end. So these are the different layers. Okay, if you can put together in the right way, you have a precision ad tech stack. Okay, this is a huge subject, but it's a very interesting subject. And all the large B2B tech enterprises, they are very interested in this. If you are not experimenting with this, then I think you're lagging behind in the market. So this is how the precision ad tech stack looks like. Data comes from CDP and CRM. Intent comes from different behavioral signals. You got to match it. You got to create an ad layer activation. You got to do all of that through automations, and then always keep an eye through analytics and optimize it. Right. This is where the loop, the feedback loop, completes. Right. Okay. So in terms of tech stack, that is what there are different people involved in this. We actually help our customers exactly with this. If you have any queries, please do reach out to us on Insightstap. We'll be happy to assist you. Okay, all right. Now these are some use cases or workflows that I have already talked about. Okay, some very generic use cases that comes right on top for most of the customers that we work is G2 intent to LinkedIn and Google outreach. Right? When I say outreach, I mean I mean precision ads. Right? So somebody comes down to G2 intent. If you have a G2 paid account in G2, and if you have a paid account in HubSpot, then it can be integrated. Okay, and those intent data can be pushed into HubSpot. In the HubSpot, you can create dynamic list, and through those lists in HubSpot, it's called active list, by the way. Okay, but I'm using the term dynamic for people who are not from HubSpot background. They will not understand what active list is. So I'm using the term dynamic, which is a generic term there. So you can create a dynamic list, which can be updated accordingly, automatically. And then that data from that list, the company data and the people data from that particular list can be enriched, right? It can be enriched using Clay and Make.com and N10. It can be enriched. More data can be added. And then based on that, you can create the audiences, the list, the company level data, and the people level data. And you can create audiences, say on LinkedIn and Google, and create a customer match ads, and then run ads on that. Right. So that is how the entire layer works. Capture the G2 buyer intent signals, push the matched account to LinkedIn, matched audiences, run personalized ad creatives, retarget through Google Display and YouTube. Okay, so run personalized ad and then retarget them, through Google Display and YouTube, and create a feedback engagement. Okay, this is one use case, one workflow, works very well. If you're not using it, if you're using G2, if you're paying a lot of money to G2 and HubSpot and LinkedIn, try to connect them all, see the magic happens. Okay, so this is how it looks like. G2 intent to LinkedIn match audience, dynamic remarketing, and the CRM and sales outreach. Okay, that is the flow in terms of visual flow. If you can create that, it works really well. Okay.